I just heard today I'm going to wait until interest rates come down further. Now, if you recall, we were at about 7% for interest rates maybe 2-3 months ago. And today, this is the beginning of April, we are at 6% for VA rates. And the market, there's a lot of inventory on the market. What I want to do right now is go over the difference. People who say it's going to be cheaper for me to buy a home if I wait till rates come down. But I'm here to tell you it's going to be more expensive, not only for your monthly payment, but for your out-of-pocket expenses. So we're going to look at today, 6%. You wait till rates come down to 5.5%. And then if you wait for rates to come down to 5.25%, wouldn't that be great? Well, it would be great, but not necessarily great for you. So let's get into this. Right now in Ewa Beach, $1 million home at 6% with a $35,000 credit is absolutely doable. Most of my clients who are buying in Ewa Beach are getting a large credit that is enough to buy down their rate with a temporary buy down for 2 years and to pay closing costs. And in this case, on $1 million home, you're going to get $35,000 in credit, which is doable because the inventory is really high. All right, and what is going to happen? All right, say rates are at 6% today. All right, if you didn't get a buy down, your mortgage payment would be $63.42 a month, $6,342 a month. That includes your principal, interest, tax, and insurance. All right, you get a 2-year buy down. So your first year, you're actually only going to be paying a 4% rate. All right, so your total mortgage payment that first year is $5,121. The second year would go up to a 5% rate, which is $5,715. All right, so that's great. Your first year mortgage payment, $5,121, and your closing costs, which are going to be about $13,000, will be paid with that $35,000 seller credit. So out of pocket to move into this $1 million home today, you are going to have to spend maybe $700 for your home inspection, and that's it. That's the beauty of buying now. Again, I've said it a million times. It's not timing the market, it's time in the market. And the time to get in the market is right now, because let's wait until rates get down to 5.5%. Oh my gosh, I remember those days. We actually had that happen last September. All right, at 5.5%, guess what? You're not getting any credit. All right, you're gonna get a 5.5% rate. All right, and guess what? The closing costs will still be $13,000, but you know what? You're not gonna get a seller credit. All right, so your mortgage payment at 5.5% is going to be $6,024 a month. All right, not as low as it is with that 2-1 buy down. And you're going to have to pay the $13,000 in closing costs out of your own pocket. All right, because the seller's not going to do that. The seller's doing that today. Now let's talk about that buyer who wants to wait until rates come down to 5.25%. Well, 5.25%, folks, that's a different story, because guess what? That's a pretty low rate. We haven't seen that in a while. That $1 million home that you could have bought, today at a 6% interest rate, well, guess what? At 5.25%, there's a lot more buyers. Guess what? They're going to go over asking, because that's what happens when you have a low supply, high demand environment. We're looking now at $1.2 million for that purchase. All right, at 5.25%, that mortgage payment at 5.25 for $1.2 million is $6,809. All right, I'm assuming that the taxes will go up a little bit, because they will. If you're waiting another year and home prices go up, continue to go up, you can expect your taxes to go up. But here's the other kicker. Not only are you not getting any credit to buy down your rate, not only are you not getting any credit to cover your closing costs, guess what? That buyer agent that you used, right now at 6%, the seller's going to pay the compensation to pay your buyer's agent. And even at the 5.5%, there's a pretty good chance that the seller is going to pay your buyer's agent their compensation. They're going to get paid by basically through the seller agent as part of the contract. Well, guess what? That's not required. And if you got 10, 15 people who are submitting offers on a property and they're going above asking, and they're not asking for anything from the seller, seller's not going to give you a compensation to pay your buyer's agent. So what's going to happen? You're going to have to pay that buyer's agent out of your own pocket. So if you are paying 2% compensation to a buyer's agent on top of your $13,000 in closing costs, you're paying $24,000 of the buyer's agent compensation, possibly. So you would have to come out of pocket to buy that $1.2 million home at 5.25%. You would have to pay $37,000, up to $37,000 out of pocket. And most VA buyers certainly don't have that amount of money. So that's going to knock VA buyers out of the market. So again, I go back to what I said at the beginning. All right, the time in the market is much more important than time in the market. If you wait for rates to come down, you inject a lot of different variables into your desire to buy a home, and it's going to make it more difficult to buy a home. When you can buy now, it's not buy now, pay later, but it is buy now, pay later, right? You're going to get a lower interest rate today, and guess what? If rates do go down, you're going to refinance anyway, and then get that mortgage payment lower. All right, so the time is now. If you're waiting for rates to get lower, there's a good chance that you're going to pay more for your mortgage payment and have to pay your closing costs. All right, that's all I got for you. Have a great day. Please, before you make that decision to wait, talk to your lender, talk to your realtor, and really find out what those numbers are, because you might actually find out, as I've just shown you, that it's probably a good idea to get into the market now. All right. Have a great day. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Love doing this. And if there's anything you want to talk about, hit me up. Let's do it. All right. Aloha.